You're listening to the Sports Brothers podcast by Sam and Brian Dostal. Everything sports, all the time.
Happy Friday to you and welcome to the Sports Brothers podcast. I'm your co-host Brian Dostler and I'll be joined by my partner in crime Sam Dostler. And today is Friday, May 23rd, 2014, and it is just after 9:30 here Eastern Time. And Sam, once again, good to have you on the show.
Good to be here, Brian. Bright and early today, about a half hour earlier than
Yeah, and I just woke up about 5 minutes ago.
Hey, you know what? The golf course calls. You know, it's funny. Yesterday, our dad out in San Francisco plays Olympia, U.S. Open a couple years ago, one of the best courses in the country. Where am I going today? Timberland Golf Course. Nothing like public golf, baby.
Can't beat it. So just a reminder, today you can listen to our podcast off our website, thesportsbrothersblog.wordpress.com, and that will also be posted on our Twitter page at Sport Brothers, which now is up to 26 followers. So,
Woo!
So thank you to the followers that we have already, and please, if you're not following the page already, please take a follow. It is worth a follow.
The question is, what are you doing?
That's really what it is. All right, so today we have a lot to talk about on today's podcast. We're going to be talking about the Cleveland Cavaliers. They won the lottery, the first overall pick of the NBA draft again. Kevin Ollie signs an extension with UConn. An MLB update, but first we will be talking about the NBA playoffs and the conference finals, and first, the Eastern Conference Finals, and it's number 1 seeded Indiana Pacers and the number 2 seed Miami Heat. It's a series that is tied at 1-1. Here is Eric Spoelstra's thoughts with LeBron James.
He wasn't in a rhythm through the first 30 minutes of the game, and he just found a way to break free on a couple cuts, in transition, and that just kind of got him going. And at this point, it's just whatever it takes.
And that was Coach Spoelstra talking about LeBron and just saying that he was able to get it going in the fourth quarter, and he really did take things over for the Heat in Game 2. In Game 2 on Wednesday, the Heat won 87-83, and LeBron James, he had 22 points, 11 of them coming in the fourth quarter, 7 rebounds and 6 assists, and his teammate Dwayne Wade, 23 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, and Norris Cole was huge off the bench for Miami. He finished with 11 points, 2-2 from 3, 2 assists in 27 minutes. And Sam, this was a team, the Heat, that, if they were down 0-2, it would have been really the first time in forever in the Big Three, actually, it'd be the first time. And they were able to come away with the win on the road.
Yeah, you're not really too surprised, are you, that they were able to come away with the win on the road like that? It looked a little dicey at times. Indiana, they had I think it was a 5-point lead in the fourth quarter, 80-75. I think, if I remember correctly, somewhere in that ballpark, though. They did have a lead, but at the end of the day, the Miami Heat, they've gone to the NBA Finals 3 straight years. They've won the championship 2 straight years. You knew they weren't going to lose 2 straight games to start off the series. They're just too good, and I think the key right now for Miami is how well Dwayne Wade has been playing. He's been playing very good basketball. He's scored better than 20 points in each of the first 2 games. He seems to be moving well, and that's going to be something that's huge. And I guess Lance Stevenson, right, he called him out before the series started.
I mean, it wasn't too big of a call-out, basically, just because Stevenson has been guarding Wade for the majority of the first 2 games, and obviously he knew that going in. So he said something saying that, Wade can't, he can't get by me or something like that. I mean, it wasn't nothing too big, but Wade, he scores 27 points in Game 1 and 23 in Game 2, and I don't think it's the smartest thing to kind of light the fire of Dwayne Wade, because now he has something even more to play for, and he's shown in the first 2 games.
Yeah, without a doubt. Dwayne Wade is one of those guys that, although the last couple of years he's been hurt on and off, he hasn't been what he was in the past. He's still one of the better players of all time. When he's done, he's going to be in the Hall of Fame. He won that championship with Shaq. He obviously won the last.
He's got 3 rings.
Yeah, he's got 3 rings. So he's not. I don't know if he's necessarily the bear you want to poke with the stick.
No, I would agree with that. LeBron and Wade, they assisted or scored on every Heat basket in the fourth quarter, and they outscored the Pacers 25-20 in that fourth quarter. Here is Dwayne Wade and saying that the Heat are confident in late game scenarios.
We believe in our defense. When our defense is, the way it should be, us moving around, running around, doing the things we should do offensively, we got two guys that we can put the ball in their hands and they're going to make the best play for the team.
Before we go to the Pacers, the Heat have now won 11 straight playoff games following a loss, and that's just a sign of a great team.
It is. I mean, that's how you answer back, and especially what makes it that much more impressive is the fact that they were down in a hostile road environment, an Indiana crowd that was finally seeing their team play well on 2 consecutive
Something
nights.
to cheer for,
Something
finally.
that hadn't happened throughout this entire postseason. So credit to the NBA champions, Miami Heat, for getting it done, and I think they're off and running in the series now that they're heading back home.
Now to the Pacers side of things. Just like Game 1, the Pacers, all 5 starters scored in double figures. However, this time they obviously couldn't get it done. Lance Stevenson, he had a ball game. He led all scorers with 25 points and 7 assists. Roy Hibbert, he finished with a double-double, 12 points, 13 rebounds. Paul George, he struggled. He did have 14 points, but it was on 4 of 16 shooting. But obviously what everyone's talking about with Paul George is the concussion. He received a blow to the head with about 7 minutes remaining left in the fourth quarter when Dwayne Wade needed him. It was accidental. They were both going for a loose ball, and George actually said he blacked out for a minute.
And I'll believe it. I mean, he took a wicked knee to the head. I mean, if you look at it, Dwayne Wade is down there for a little while holding his knee, and you made solid contact if the guy whose knee hit the head is down holding his knee. You know that it was a pretty good shot, and you can see Paul George. It looks like it does look a little bit like he blacked out. He did rejoin the team yesterday, did some light workouts. Status still up in the air, but he took some jumpers. He did everything but non-contact drills. So hopefully he's good to go. I think this extended period of time off between Game 2 and 3 is coming at just the right time for the Pacers, because if they were to have played last night like they had been doing for the first couple games of the series, day off game, he probably wouldn't have been able to play.
That's a very good point. And obviously he did remain in the game, and he is diagnosed with a concussion, so he does have to go through the NBA protocol to try to get to play in Game 3, which will be tomorrow night, 8:30 on ESPN. And the last note here, the Pacers are 5-0 following a loss this postseason, are 5-1 on the road this postseason. So good numbers there. And obviously with the series being tied at 1-1, the series will continue to be a good one. Here is Pacers head coach Frank Vogel, on his thoughts on the Game 2 loss.
Some defensive breakdowns led to threes and a few turnovers. And a couple good looks where we missed shots. I mean, Lance made some good passes to start the fourth for guys who were open, and we just didn't connect.
So that's all we got on the Pacers Heat series. Now on to the Western Conference Finals, which really
hasn't been close, has it?
Not.
And it
not
went from bad to worse for OKC in Game number 2.
The San Antonio Spurs have taken a commanding 2-0 lead in the Western Conference Finals, winning Game 1, 122-105, and Game 2, 112-77. That's their largest win in a conference finals game in franchise history. And Sam, this Spurs team has really just taken over or just turned it on during these playoffs.
Well, they played exceptionally well all season long. I mean, you have to get the 1 seed in the West, especially this year with how tough the West was throughout the regular season. I mean, you just look at the fact that a team like Golden State, who won better than 50 games, was a 6 seed, and Dallas with Dirk Nowitzki was an 8 seed. And Memphis, of course, was a 7. So, I mean, it's a really deep conference, and you just got to – and the rap I don't get on the San Antonio Spurs, people have said it for years, is they're not a fun team to watch play basketball.
I think they are.
Yeah, I mean – I've always enjoyed watching them. You can argue a little bit in 2007 when they won that championship. They played some lower scoring games, but now, I mean, they just move the ball so well. They're so unselfish. It doesn't matter who does the scoring to them. I mean, you look at the fact that in Game 1, the star Tim Duncan did the scoring, right? He scored the 27 points, and then all of a sudden you got this guy Danny Green, who's a good shooter, but he just comes off the bench and just goes off. 7 of 10 from 3, 21 points. It doesn't matter who does it for them as long as at the end of the day they have the W.
And Tony Parker, 22 points, 5 assists in Game 2. Manu Ginobili, he had 11 in Game 2, 18 in Game 1. Another guy that came off the bench for the Spurs team. And Danny Green, here is what he had to say after Game 2, trying to tell his team to stay focused after a large margin of victory.
I hope that, with this experienced group, with the foundation we have, that we're able to, stay very humble and not, take this victory to head in any way, shape, or form. So we know what's at stake. We know how important it is. It's the playoffs. Every possession, every game counts.
And saying that was Danny Green saying that the Spurs need to kind of stay focused. You can't look too far ahead because the Thunder are obviously a very good team. Now Thunder will be home, and they need to keep going full attack on the Thunder.
Yeah, the Thunder, a very good team at home, obviously playing without Serge Ibaka. But I think that excuse is thrown out the window.
Yeah.
You still got two of the best players in the NBA. Kevin Durant, you can argue, second best player behind LeBron James. And then, of course, you got the dynamic point guard in Russell Westbrook. So there's no excuse to be losing games like this. Yes, you do lose something in not having Serge Ibaka, the ability for him to stretch the floor on the offensive end and the ability for him to protect the rim on the defensive end. But this Thunder team should be much prouder than this than to be losing games in this fashion. And to note, Duncan, Parker, Ginobili, now the winningest trio in NBA history with 111 wins, surpassing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Michael Cooper, and Magic Johnson. So the Spurs, we've known they've been good for the better.
They know
part
how
of
to
the
win
last
the playoffs.
decade plus now, but they're getting into that. They're into that rarefied air right now.
Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook, they struggled mightily, both of them in Game 2. Durant had 15 points on 6 of 16 shooting, and that's only the 5th time in 69 career playoff games that he has been held under 20 points. Here are his thoughts on the Game 2 loss.
We lost by a lot, 2 games in a row. So it's hard for you to stay together. But we have a group full of guys that's not front runners, and we figure it out.
And his teammate Russell Westbrook, 15 points on 7 of 24 shooting. So both of those guys did not have good shooting nights. I mean, as you can tell with the 35-point loss, which is the worst in playoff loss history, in franchise history, I should say, back when the Seattle Supersonics were a team that also lost by 35 points.
Well, you know what? If people are into looking at, things, something happening in the past to signify something good, well, 1978 was when that organization won their only NBA championship.
There you go.
In 1978. But something that I think is interesting, people are bringing up the similarity between the last time these two teams played in the Western Conference Finals. The first year the Heat won the championship, which would have been 2013-2012. San Antonio won the first 2 games of that series, but those games were much closer. They weren't like this. The Spurs had to rally late in one of those 2 games. Both the games, I think, finished as single-digit margins of victory. So the teams were really neck and neck through those first 2 games. And this time, well, certainly not the case.
And if there was a bright spot for the Oklahoma City Thunder, it was that second-year player, Jeremy Lamb, scored 13 points on 6 of 8 shooting in just 14 minutes. So a UConn shout-out there. And last note, the Spurs are 18-2 in the series under Greg Popovich when leading a best-of-7 series to nothing. So
and
it's pretty much done deal.
1979 was when Seattle won the NBA championship. I think Portland was in 1978.
Okay.
Dr. Jack Ramsey.
Here is Scott Brooks on the Game 2 debacle.
It's definitely doesn't feel good, and it shouldn't. I hope our entire locker room doesn't feel good. You shouldn't feel good. We got our butts kicked.
So Scott Brooks clearly not happy with his team, and the feeling isn't good in the locker room, as it shouldn't be for local Oklahoma City Thunder. But they have a chance to turn things around on Sunday. Game 3 will be then at 8:30 on TNT, so don't miss that one. And now we move on to our next topic on the Sports Brothers podcast. Once again, I'm Brian Dossler with Sam Dossler here, and make sure you follow our Twitter page at Sport Brothers on Twitter. It's got our nice picture of me.
It's a beautiful picture.
Yeah, the best we could do to get the both of us there. And it's got a nice LSU Tiger Stadium background right now. And please check out our website. When people listen to our first podcast, they kind of just go through the Twitter page and YouTube. But check out the website. It's
you got an article up there that you wrote about Kevin Ollie.
Kevin Ollie, which we'll be talking. So please read my article. I'll try to do that as much as possible, writing articles, and got some cool pictures. It's a very basic website, but
it gets the job done.
Yeah, it does. It gets the stuff out there. All right, Kevin Ollie, the UConn men's basketball head coach, signs a 5-year extension, which runs through the 2017-2018 season, and can make up to $16 million if he stays all 5 years. With this new contract, Ollie is now the highest-paid coach in the American Athletic Conference, which surpasses Memphis head coach John Pastner. And Ollie can make more than $60 million if he stays for all 5 years with postseason bonuses. This year he got bonuses before winning the 2014 national championship. And really, Sam, the UConn athletic director, Ward Manuel, he had to work pretty quickly. I honestly think that.
Well, he made it public that they were going to renegotiate the contract after, while they were at the NCAA regionals, and then the need to do that became greater and greater as the tournament progressed, and obviously UConn went on to win the championship. He was the lowest paid coach at the Final Four, and now with this new salary, it bumps him up to 9th in the pecking order. He's the 9th highest paid coach in college basketball. And he's right where he should be. He's right where the market calls for a coach like him.
And with those, after the national championship run, there was 5 NBA teams that reportedly were after Kevin Ollie, and the Cavaliers and Lakers were reportedly to go after him the hardest.
With the Cavs going the hardest.
Yeah, they even offer as far as offering him a contract. But Kevin Ollie will make $2.8 million next season, then $2.9 million. $3 million, $3.1 million in 2016, and finally $3.2 million in the last year of the deal for the 2017-2018 season. But the third-year head coach does have separate buyout clauses that differentiate taking another college job versus the NBA. So let's play a little game here, Sam. Over under 5 years, Kevin Ollie stays at UConn.
Well, I've been saying by the time I'm 27, he's going to be gone.
So that would be under.
So I'm 23 right now. So we're going to go with under. I don't know why I picked 27. That was the first number that came out when talking about the Kevin Ollie situation. I think, he's been so successful so quickly at the college level that he almost maybe is going to feel like, you know what, I've done this. I've done it. I've gotten to the top of the college game already. Now it's time to go and see if I can conquer the next big thing, which of course is the NBA. He has a lot of ties to the NBA, as everybody knows, his 13-year playing career. Reading Jeff Jacobs of the Hartford Courant today, between his playing days in college, his assistant coaching days in college, and his head coaching days in college, he still hasn't caught up to how long he spent in the NBA. So he's an NBA guy. He's been there. He knows what it takes to win in the league, and a lot of the stuff he runs at UConn is NBA-based.
Stuff.
Spread the floor offense, the plays they design out of timeouts. So I think he would be very successful in the NBA. He has guys like Kevin Durant, LeBron James, who he mentored as a player, but guys who really respect him, and I think would love to have him as a head coach at some point during their career.
I'm going to go over because I think he will leave after the 5th year of his contract is up. I thought kind of going into this past season, that he was going to be there for life. It's kind of, I don't know, biased of me to think that.
Well, we're so spoiled here in Connecticut. You think about it. Jim Calhoun was here for almost 30 years. Gino Auriemma has been here forever. With our major coaches here in the state
Howie
of
Dickerman
Connecticut,
even.
Dickerman at the Central Connecticut low D1 level. But at UConn, we've been so spoiled with the fact that our coaches have been here and there's been that stability, but that's not really the case, is it? If you look around, that's the exception, not the rule.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point.
And you just think about when Randy Edsel left, how blindsided everybody in Connecticut was. But I didn't get it because it doesn't seem like Maryland's a real stepping stone. Seems like it's on at the time it was on par with UConn, but I don't know.
I think they're still on par though. Now.
I guess they still are on par a little bit. But, just you look at the fact that people were so stunned by Randy Edsel leaving here in the state of Connecticut. But I don't know. I think Ollie eventually is going to test those NBA waters. He's just too good of a coach, I think, not to.
And just another rumor out here about another college head coach, Billy Donovan, the Florida head coach, was reached out by the Cavaliers, but Donovan said he's not going anywhere, and he'll be back in Gainesville for his 19th season. He is 48 years old, but when you hear a guy like Donovan, obviously he's had multiple chances of going to the NBA.
Well, he did for a day or something with the Orlando Magic.
Yeah.
He did, and then next thing you knew, he was back in Florida. But if you're Donovan, you've had the success, you've won the championships. If you're ever going to do it, it's well, I guess there's still time, but
he is 48.
48's a great time to jump, and I don't know. Cleveland's just not a great situation.
His 19th season in Florida. That's wow.
At 40 now, so that means at 30 he got that head coaching job, and he's always been good.
He certainly has. All right, the NBA draft lottery. The Cleveland Cavaliers won the lottery in the first overall pick of the 2014 NBA draft, and that's going to be the third time in the last 4 years that the Cavaliers have won the first overall pick of the draft. So they've won it in 2014, 2013, and 2011. And the Cavaliers had the 9th best odds to get the first overall pick at 1.7%. But again, somehow they found a way to receive that number 1 overall pick. Here is Cavaliers Vice Chairman Jeff Cohen on getting the first overall pick of the draft.
I don't know how to explain it. It's 3 out of 4 years, and we had a 1.7% chance of coming up with the overall first pick, and we seemed to pull it off again.
So that was the Cavaliers Vice Chairman Jeff Cohen on getting the first overall pick. And Sam, I mean, neither of us are kind of really on the whole, is the lottery draft rigged? But if you look at it, when a team has a 1.7% chance of getting it, they got in 3 out of the last 4 years. Coincidentally, it happens to be 4 years ago LeBron James left for the Heat. I need conclusive, hard evidence that this is rigged, but I'm still not going to say it's rigged.
It's not rigged. Come on. The teams are so slotted in. There's just so many scenarios where teams can't really move up. It's just.
But they have moved up.
But why would Cleveland be the market that you would rig? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense that Cleveland would get 3 picks, number 1 picks out of 4 years. You look at the fact that the Knicks have been struggling. That's a major market. Los Angeles, they have the number 1. They're a major market.
Yeah, but they haven't been in the lottery before the season.
Year, if they were rigging it, they could have just. Why would they give Cleveland another chance when they know they have a chance to give New York or Los Angeles a top player? I
or
think
Boston.
The rigging, or Boston, talking about rigging is just kind of. I don't know. It's a conversation that I've grown very wary of. I don't think there's any reason to believe that the NBA draft is rigged. It's just the way it goes. I mean, there's a 1.7% chance, so there is a chance. There's a chance that they can get it. That's why they do the NBA draft lottery, so that every team that doesn't make the postseason has a chance of getting that number 1 pick. And Cleveland, although it was unlikely, they did get that number 1 pick, and we'll see if they can make a smart pick this time around.
The top 10 picks of the NBA draft, one Cleveland Cavaliers, obviously. Milwaukee Bucks, they had a 25% chance to gain that first overall pick. The Philadelphia Sixers at 3, they had a 19.9% chance. Orlando Magic at 4, Utah Jazz. The Boston Celtics at 6, Los Angeles Lakers at 7, Sacramento Kings at 8, the Charlotte Hornets at 9. Hornets, not Bobcats. And number 10 is the Philadelphia 76ers once again. And we're not going to get into our predictions here, but eventually we will, as the NBA draft is on Thursday, June 26th. And so I'm looking forward to the draft scene.
Yeah, it's going to be a great draft this year. Just a lot of really good players, especially the first, I guess you could even go 6-7 picks. I mean, you just look at Joel Embiid, Andrew Wiggins, you got Jabari Parker, Dante Exum, the big mystery guy from Australia, Julius Randle in there, Noah Vonleh. And then, of course, you got the experienced guys, Shabazz Napier, Anthony Early, guys like that. So it's a very intriguing draft. I'm really looking forward to digging my teeth into this draft and talking about it during the coming weeks.
And our last topic will be about Major League Baseball and a couple updates for you there. Big news from Texas yesterday, last night.
Big news from a big guy.
Yeah. First baseman Prince Fielder will miss the rest of the season after he will go through neck surgery, which will repair a herniated disc. Fielder will seek a second opinion before he gets surgery on Tuesday, but he is expected to get that surgery. Fielder, who was traded by the Detroit Tigers in the offseason, is hitting only .247 this season with 3 home runs and 16 RBI, so not the way he wanted to start his career in Texas. And Prince, he had only missed 13 games from 2006 to 2013. That's 8 seasons. So he missed 13 games in 8 seasons. And I believe he's missed 13 games this season. And now he's missing the rest of the season.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate because Prince is, Texas, they traded Ian Kinsler, a guy who'd been there forever, their second baseman, for Prince Fielder to get a big bat at first base and to open up room for some of their younger prospects in the middle infield. And Fielder, he's a guy, he's been in the All-Star game the last 3 years, 2 of which when he was with Detroit the year before, his final year in Milwaukee. Overall, this is a guy who's played in 5 All-Star games throughout his career, and he's always just been a very good batter, .285 career batting average, 288 home runs, 886 RBIs. So a guy you always know you're going to get productivity from. Texas, they were banking on him in the middle of their lineup, and now just very unfortunate. And, you're talking about his size. It has nothing to do with the size because he's been so durable throughout his career. Still young, just 30 years old this year. So hopefully this solves any problems and he can come back next year and be the Prince Fielder of old because when he's clicking, he's good. He's an extremely dangerous hitter and someone that pitchers don't want to face, especially, now that he's in Texas, a hitter-friendly ballpark with those warm Texas nights. He can put up some big numbers there if he's healthy. And, of course, that's what Texas was thinking when they did make that trade.
Cubs ace and former Notre Dame football standout Jeff Samardzija has done something that no other pitcher in MLB history has ever done.
And no other pitcher in MLB history wants to do.
So congratulations, Jeff Samardzija. You were the only pitcher in MLB history with an ERA below 1.50 and 0 wins in your first 10 starts. So congrats to you on that. And that's got to be frustrating for Mr. Samardzija. He is 0-4 on the season with a 1.46 ERA in 68 innings this season. And
you know what? He's winless in 17 consecutive starts. He's winless in 17 consecutive starts now, dating back to last season. And he had a win in his finger. You could taste it. He had it right there in the palm of his hand in his last start on Tuesday afternoon, I want to say, or was it Wednesday?
It was Wednesday against the Yankees.
Against the Yankees. The Yankees rallied for 2 runs in the top of the 9th inning and then 1 in the 13th inning. So Samardzija just can't catch a break, and it's going to be interesting to see if he does get moved come.
I bet he will. I mean,
you can get a lot for him.
Yeah, you can, certainly. And if he keeps pitching at this rate, and I think he has to be obviously the top pitcher with the July 31st trade deadline approaching in a couple months.
Yeah, and we've seen living in New England, Theo Epstein not afraid to pull the trigger on a big-time move. Someone who's always looking towards the future when it comes to making moves. He can get some, maybe gets 2 good arms from a team that's contending, a good arm and an outfielder, whatever it may be, 2 top prospects from a team for a guy like Samardzija. And he could be a guy that, we've never seen him pitch in a pressure situation because the Cubs have been irrelevant throughout his entire career with them. So we don't know how he's going to respond to the big moment, but he certainly has the stuff. And he could be that type of pitcher that puts a team over the top.
The Boston Red Sox, they've been struggling this season. They're 20-26 so far. They are currently on a 7-game losing streak, which is its longest from September 25th to October 3rd, 2012, and that's when...
That was to end the season.
Yeah. Okay, there you go. And that was the Bobby Valentine era, if you will. And 6 of those losses, which is even more disturbing about this, Sam, is 6 of the losses have been at home.
Yeah, they just have not been playing good baseball, and it just seems like they're always playing from behind. Just you watch yesterday's game, and John Lester's on the mound. So you figure you're going to at least get a good start from your starting pitcher. You're going to have a chance, and he gets the first guy, and then boom, boom, Melky Cabrera and Jose Batistas go back to back, and it's 2-0. And
Just
then,
like that.
then they put up a 5-run spot in the second inning, and it's over.
Yeah.
I mean, they just can't get things going right now. They don't seem to have that same magic. They're 10-18 at home now, I believe. They have a winning record on the road at 10-9, so maybe it's a good thing they're getting out of Dodge and going down to Tampa to start a weekend series there. But they got to figure out things quickly, because even though this AL East is very mediocre, you keep losing games at this rate, you're going to find yourselves with too big of a hole to dig out of.
And really, I mean, this was a chance that the Red Sox had to kind of gain some games on the other AL East teams with the Rays. I mean, they got Matt Moore and it's a Cobb, I believe, that's out with injuries. The Yankees, they're struggling with injuries. I mean, this should be the time where, they get a nice cushion. But so far, they're, I believe, 4.5 out of first place. I mean, which obviously isn't the biggest hole. I mean,
no, I mean you're still right there, but you gotta start winning some games.
And I mean, just kind of the Red Sox, they haven't scored more than 4 runs in any of their last 8 home games, so they haven't scored 4 more runs.
And this is a team that led baseball in offense last year. I mean, they're missing a key piece in Jacoby Ellsbury, who's
which I think people aren't talking about enough.
Right, I agree. I mean, you look, Jackie Bradley Jr. is doing a great job defensively in center field, but his batting average has been around 200 all season long, striking out way too much. I think maybe the Grady Sizemore feel-good story is
it's not so feel-good.
Potentially looking like it's run out of steam, at least for the time being. So you got to look for them to make some sort of move. Something's got to happen. One move, they got Stephen Drew back in the fold. He's going to go down and get some at-bats in AAA before coming up to the Red Sox. I think he's going down for 25
Yeah,
at-bats.
25 at-bats, they were saying.
So but that's I don't know. That's not really an offensive move per se.
No, it's more defense. I mean, obviously, Stephen Drew struggled to play during the postseason. All the Red Sox fans know that, and I will always stand up for Stephen Drew, because without Stephen Drew, they do not win the World Series
he was fantastic
last season.
Defensively.
And a lot of Red Sox fans will disagree with me with that. But he made a lot of heck of defensive plays that seem to go unnoticed to Red Sox fans. And just quickly, Brendan Workman, me and you, we've
had this discussion
a
lot. They've been stretching him out down in Pawtucket. So we'll see with this Felix Dubron injury, Dubron going on the DL with left shoulder fatigue. We'll see if Workman gets a chance to get back into the starting rotation. But Workman's been a guy who has been very good for the Red Sox. Pitched the 8th inning of Game 6 and was throwing well up here at the major league level before they sent him down. So we'll have to see if they decide to go with him or if they decide to go with someone else. But Workman was very good with the Red Sox while he was up here.
And lastly, Daniel Nava, a guy that hit 303 last season and was demoted to AAA earlier this season. I believe it was early May when Shane Victorino came off the DL for the first time in the season. And Nava, he was a leadoff hitter for opening day.
Yeah, he was.
And now he's in AAA.
He was really struggling, though. It seemed like he was maybe pressing a little too much. Struggling with the new Daniel Nava, guy who is a 303 hitter. Because remember, this is the guy who worked his way up through independent ball. He had a long road to get to the major leagues. I think at some point we're going to see Nava back up with the major league club.
He is hitting .253 in Pawtucket in 23 games. So I'd like to see that average go up a little bit. But hopefully he'll be back in Boston sometime soon. All right, quick hits. We got 2 of them for you. Tigers catcher Victor Martinez has struck out 12 times, which is the same amount of times he has hit home runs this season.
He's
also 12.
He's striking out a lot. 3 times since the Sunday night game now. He had during the Sunday night game against the Red Sox, he had his 10th home run of the season to go along with only 9 strikeouts. So 3 strikeouts in less than a week. What's going on in Victor Martinez's world?
Yankee starting pitcher Masahiro Tanaka suffered his first loss in quite some time this past Tuesday night after falling to the Chicago Cubs 6-1. Combining Major League Baseball and Japan, he had won 34 straight regular season decisions. His last loss came back on August 19, 2012 in Japan, and in that loss, Tanaka allowed 4 runs, 3 of them were earned on 8 hits in 6 innings.
And Tanaka, he already has that reputation as a big-time player. The Cubs, after the game, were talking about how This is like beating Floyd Mayweather, who's of course undefeated in boxing. It's like beating him. That's how highly they think beating Tanaka is. So this guy, he's certainly, he had been projected as a 2 or a 3 coming in, but he's certainly looking like
he's like the ace. Yeah.
Excuse me, he's going to be an absolute star.
All right. Thank you for listening to the Sports Brothers podcast. You can listen to our show off of our Twitter page at Sport Brothers or at our website, thesportsbrothersblog.wordpress.com. And once again, please check out that website. I got an article up there about Kevin Ollie. The shows will be up there. Some nice pictures. There's a little bio about myself and Sam about what we do for our lives. And so we will be off, if you will, on Memorial Day due to a family gathering at our Uncle Kyle and Aunt Mary. Messed up that one there. So we will be there, and I'm sure that you folks will be enjoying your own family picnic. So I want to say thank you to all the veterans and current soldiers out there for protecting us. We appreciate all that you do for us, and that's going to do it for us here, and that's all she wrote, folks. Have a great day.